Okay, so a media connection, but this group is not only responsible for getting its message into the media. This group is also has helped draw up the new requirements for the E2 visa. This shows the group as a participant in a major Korean government immigration policy meeting. This policy meeting actually drew up the HIV testing requirements for the E2 visa. Just a week later, after this meeting, this document came out. If it doesn't sound very official, it's because it's not. This policy memo is what it's been referred to, put the requirements into place without even passing a law. No law at all. In fact, in direct violation of the Constitution, several major acts from the National Assembly, and violated binding international treaties. Okay. Next, and this is extremely important. If you haven't heard anything I've talked about yet, please pay attention to this. A bill has now been introduced to the National Assembly, and this bill is to amend the Immigration Control Act to give the government the legal basis to require the same E2-style medical test for all foreigners on employment visas, all of them. This is not just for foreign language teachers. And the purpose statement of the bill I've translated below explains why. Nowadays, a good many foreigners coming to Korea have previous convictions for drugs and sexual crimes or carry infectious diseases. This bill is currently pending before the National Assembly. Okay, so this is the xenophobic trend that's existing in Korea, unfortunately today, from the internet to the media and right into government policy, and now threatening to become binding law. That's Bill 3356 that I just mentioned to amend the Immigration Act. This would require, again, E2-style medical tests for all foreign workers. It would give the government the authority. Whether or not they choose to use that is another question. And it all started off with this guy, the foreign English teacher. I see I'm about out of time, but let me briefly mention the legal challenges against the E2 visa policy. They involve, on the left there, a complaint brought by myself to the National Human Rights Commission of Korea, and then most significantly a case has been filed with the Constitutional Court of Korea. This is one of the opportunities that the in-country testing does. It allows us to challenge things in court. This is Andrea Vandam, an American woman who's challenged it at the court. We're working with local counsel, Korea's best public interest law firm, to challenge the E2 visa policy. These are the same lawyers that worked on the Hall case that I mentioned at the beginning. And good news is we just received word that the Constitutional Court has accepted the case and will go to trial. And finally, we've been very fortunate to have our case linked with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who, thank goodness, is Korean. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, we've had four very interesting presentations, and love to open the floor now for comments and questions. Please come to one of the microphones up front and introduce yourself. If you have a question, please send your name to one of the speakers. And/or one of the speakers. Please introduce yourself to us.
I'm Young from Korea, especially the government presentation. I think it was very timely because medical organization and the university have decided to have all the 10 architects in South Korea in 2011. I think your presentation was very timely. However, your presentation was mostly concentrated on the English teachers who are working more than 90 days to make money in South Korea. However, I have some point that I want to clarify from you is that right here in most benefits, they will come to Korea in 3 years later for the ICANN. Most of them here, they are coming to Korea for work. They are coming to Korea for the ICANN. But I want to ask two questions for clarification. The delegates who do not need a visa to visit Korea for the ICANN, they have to submit the HIV medical documentation to the embassy in those countries visa. Second question is that for delegates who do not need a visa, are they going to be asked at the immigration desk at the airport about the HIV status? HIV positive delegates, can they ask for Korea for the ID?
We have a couple of questions. Let's start with Professor Raymond.
Should I answer that one first? Okay, why don't I start with the last one, which is very significant concerning the 2011 conference proposal at least. Would delegates coming into Korea be required to disclose HIV status? That's generally no. Tourists coming into Korea, for example, are not required to reveal any sort of medical conditions for general visa on arrival status. I assume that Korea would be very interested, Korea is always interested in hosting international conferences, so my impression is that any sort of HIV laws and that would sort of be swept under the rug for the period of the conference and then be brought out afterwards. So I don't think there'd be any problem. That said, the deportation policy is alive and well, and if the government chooses to deport people with HIV in Korea, they have the legal authority to do so, and they have done so. So that's sort of a balanced answer to that. No, but they could, and I think that's something that needs to be concerned, especially if Korea is interested in hosting an international conference on AIDS.